What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Dee Dee Walker Live, and I am extra excited because I have a very phenomenal woman that I am bringing back on my show once again. She is out there making statements when it comes to women. She is really caring about her community, and she makes some outstanding music to top it all off. So, guys, Google her, put in Pint, hip hop artist. You can catch her music. We're going to talk about it today. So I want you guys to go get something to drink, put a little something in it, only if you want to, get a biscuit or two, and let's get into this conversation. Oh yeah, Facebook, YouTube, share the video. You know how we do. And 1, 2, 3, let's go. What's up, everybody? I am so excited. Listen, today was my anniversary. I went out to go eat with the hubby. I rushed here real fast. Look, I probably still got food on the side of my face. And I am excited because I've been talking about her all this week. I get excited every time she comes on my show. This will be about the third time she came on here. And I'm going to tell you what, each and every time she comes on here, she talks about some pretty amazing stuff. So we're going to talk about her. We're going to talk about her music, what she's doing. And also, I want to talk a little bit about the information that she puts out on her Facebook page called Half Pint. You guys got to go ahead and join it and everything. So I'm going to bring her on real fast, and then I'm going to go ahead and invite Facebook on here. YouTube, what's up? What's up?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? What's good, my sister?
Oh, my goodness.
It is a pleasure, and I thank you.
I thank you. I'm sitting there just admiring your wall back there. You got a little bit of real hip hop back there. You got a little bit of everything. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, you have these are the discs that we actually created from the first album of Berserk that came out in the 90s. That was our lost CD, lost tapes. We had a couple of albums that didn't make the cut. And we were on tour on the Hip Hop Guys tour. I actually combined all those songs and put them together on a CD that we sold and gave out on the Hip Hop Gods tour. And this is the 10th anniversary of the Hip Hop Gods tour. So shout out to all the hip hop gods and goddesses.
Yes, 10th anniversary. Yes, honey.
Absolutely. Yes. And the CD from our last album that was produced by Johnny Juice Rosado, well thought out. And again, that was a great album that we put out. It was almost like a continuation of Berserk, that same energy, that same feel.
Wow.
And it's always a pleasure to work with the people and my brothers and sisters from the 510 family, because that's where the foundation is, 510. And if you don't know, that's Hempstead, that Franklin Avenue, 510. That's where all the magic began. That was the Motown for Strong Island music, that was founded by, Bomb Squad, Public Enemy, and that's where the magic began. And that's where I got my start with music in the hip hop industry. When I was going into my sophomore year of college.
Wow.
So,
that's what's up.
Yeah, and then we had the gold album from Juice.
Oh, no, go ahead.
We got the gold album from Juice, from the movie Juice, because we were on the soundtrack. The song was What Could Be Better. And we had a little cameo, so if you blink, you might miss me, but we're in the movie Juice.
You was on there. You got the juice, baby. You got the juice. That was one of my favorite movies.
One of my favorite movies.
Yes. And it was scored by the Bomb Squad, and we were on the soundtrack. And it was a great soundtrack because it had Naughty by Nature, Salt and Pepper, EPMD. It was just a collaboration and a compilation of real hip hop, and it spoke to the times, especially speaking, and telling the story of, you had Boys in the Hood,
Mm-hmm.
You had Straight Outta Brooklyn, and then you had Juice, which was, again, the epitome of what was happening during that time period. So, shout out to all those that were involved in that project as well.
Man, that's what's up. I love it. Listen, guys, I know this young lady from way back when we were in high school,
We're
no,
in
middle school, high
Middle
school.
school, yes. And then we
Yes.
play ball together. Then you play ball.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
we
So
were
this
Okay.
girl
on
could
the
play
on
ball,
the
y'all.
junior
She
high
could play
school
some
team
ball.
together.
Play some ball.
You know what? I love you
You
so
know what?
much
I
because
love
you
you
are
so much
so
because you
humble.
are so
And
humble.
by the way,
And by the way,
she's also
she's
now an
also
assistant
now
principal,
an
right?
assistant principal, right?
Yes,
Yes, and she's
assistant
educating
principal of
kids out
the
there.
high
kids
school,
out
And
Roosevelt High
there.
School in Terradome,
man, if I
right?
had
The
you as a
home of
You
principal
PE.
as a
back in the
principal.
day, if we had
Back in
somebody
the day,
like
if
you
we
as a
had somebody
principal,
like you as
and
a
the sky's the
principal, then
limit.
the sky's the
This
limit.
lady is
This lady is
inspirational
inspirational
altogether. But listen, I want to
altogether. But
go
listen,
ahead.
I want to
Remember, I
go
told you
ahead.
guys I wanted to
Remember, I
try
told you
something a
guys
little
I wanted to try
different.
something a little
I want to
different.
go ahead and
I want to go
invite
ahead and invite
Facebook on here.
Facebook
So
on here. So
please give me a
please
second.
give
Let me
me a
see if I can
second.
go
Let
ahead
me
and
see
do
if I can
that.
go ahead and do that.
Save changes.
Save
I want to.
changes.
Woo, honey, I'm
I
getting
want to.
nervous.
Woo,
I
honey, I'm getting nervous.
believe
I
in a couple of
believe in a
seconds
couple of seconds
we're gonna be on Facebook.
we're gonna be on Facebook.
I think we on Facebook,
I
y'all.
think we're on Facebook, y'all.
I see the
Welcome,
welcome to
Facebook.
Facebook.
Welcome,
I think
Facebook.
we made it.
We made
The
it. We
eagle has
made
landed.
it. Listen, guys,
Listen,
Facebook.
guys,
I have this young
Facebook.
lady on
I
here.
have
Her
this
name is
young lady on
Pint.
here.
This
Her
is
name
like
is
her
Pint.
third
This is
time
like her
coming on
third
here.
time coming
I
on
love
here.
when she comes.
I
Oh,
love
look,
when
look.
she comes. Look,
Let me
look.
turn my phone off
Let
because
me
it's
turn
gonna
my
ring
phone
again the
off
whole
because it's
time
gonna
while I'm
ring
on
again the
here.
whole time while
They're
I'm on
probably
here.
calling, girl, you
They're
on
probably calling, girl, you on
Facebook? Let me turn this down. Look,
Let me
this is
turn
when
this
it's
down. Look,
live,
when it's
everything
live,
happened.
everything
I
happens.
don't even think I can turn it down.
I
But
don't even think I
anyway,
can turn it down. But anyway,
guys, I've had this young
I've
lady
had this young
not
lady
only as
not
a very
only
good
as
friend in
a
high
very good
school,
friend in high school,
but okay,
but okay,
I've been watching your career as it's been
I've been
going
watching your
on, and I've
career
been
as
like
it's been
shouting
going
to the
on, and I've been like shouting to
like
them
crazy every
like
time I see you put
crazy.
something
Every
out.
time I see you
And
put something
so, I mean,
out.
she's put out
And
a couple of
so, I mean,
records.
she's
She's in
put out a
an
couple of
awesome
records.
group,
She's
which
in
we're going to
an
talk about in a
awesome
couple of
group, which we're going to
seconds.
talk about in a couple of
You got a
seconds.
lot going on. Not
You got a
only are
lot
you an
going on. Not
assistant
only are
principal of a
you an
high
assistant
school,
principal of
you're
a
a
high
hip hop
school, you're a
artist,
hip hop
and you
artist,
just
and you just
did
did
a
a
ribbon for a
ribbon
barbecue.
a ribbon for a
Yes, I
barbecue.
want you to talk
Ribbon
about that
cutting.
too.
Yes, I want you to
Yes.
talk
A
about
ribbon
that
cut,
too.
exactly. Couldn't
Yes,
get
of
it
A ribbon
out.
course,
cut, exactly.
of course, of course, of course. Well, as always, my sister, I appreciate, all the support and the love that you've shown. And yes, we do go way back. Um, to some days where, we were just trying to figure out, you know, what we was going to do just for the next day. But, I definitely am so proud of what you've accomplished. And so,
Oh,
salute to
thank you,
you and thank
sweetheart.
you for
Thank you,
having me
sweetheart.
on the show. Yeah, I've been an administrator at Roosevelt High School in Roosevelt, New York, right where we, right next door to where we grew up.
We hung out
Mr. Terradome,
Roseville,
absolutely.
Freeport High
Everything,
School,
like you cross the
High
street
school.
from Freeport to Roosevelt, you in the state, you right there, just one street
right
across,
there.
just crossing the street.
Right
So
there.
everything is right there, and it is so community based. It is a beautiful place where I work. I love the kids. I love my job. I love the community, and I love Freeport. I love my people in Freeport. The friends that I've had, I still have. We have that. We have a different type of swag out here, and it's, there's no comparison, and and I love it all. And so when I think about, what I wanted to do as far as my career, I didn't necessarily. I knew I was supposed to be a teacher. You're supposed to be in education. Those tests that they give you to tell you what you're going to be and what you're going to do. But I was like, I don't like school enough to be wanting to be, to be a teacher. I'm not trying to do that. And, sometimes, you find out, you realize what your assignment is, and you have to really just embrace it. Because as much as you try to run from it, unfortunately, it catches up with you. And either you use those gifts or either you lose them. And I was
You're
blessed
right.
enough to be able to I was blessed enough to be able to use my gifts with the music, as well as experience, play basketball, which is what I loved in college, as well as being able to now, be able to be that light and that inspiration to those young people who were just like me, because I didn't have it all under wraps. I didn't know what I was, how I was going to get to where I was going to go, but the village surrounded me, embraced me, and gave me all the love I needed to help me find my way. And I want to be that for the students. So, becoming an educator, that was like a task for me because I had to wrap my mind around being in school because I didn't really, I didn't get the whole idea. I got it, but I didn't get it. But being in school and realizing that those foundations are for real life, and if we actually facilitate it the right way to our young people, specifically our kids, then they have a better chance of building a strong community and making sure that they leap off the shoulders of the elders and the ancestors, as opposed to just sitting there looking for somebody to give them something. And these young people have always been rising to the occasion, and I'm so proud of them. And it's definitely an honor to work with the people that I work with and the youngsters. This is my 26th year in education, even though I look 19 because I really am. Don't hate.
Yo, look,
Black
look,
don't crack,
you.
but
I'm trying to tell you, you look the same when I first met you. You like 3 years ago when we was in high school.
Because it was that long ago. But so as an administrator, I've been teaching, and I also am an administrator in the evening for the alternative program, where I work with young people who just need a non-traditional setting. We think outside the box and meet their individual needs, but we don't just work on academics, we work on the social and emotional components as well. Because if I can't reach you, I can't teach you. So I have to be able to understand that. Got to be able to understand as an educator, I can't bloom. The kids can't bloom if they don't Maslow. If I don't give them their basic foundations of what they need of belonging, love, and empathy, then all the other things that I'm asking them to do doesn't matter. So as I started to cultivate my philosophy and ingrain it and connect it with what is, what the district and the community needed and what they were looking for, I've had a beautiful journey of meeting some wonderful kids who only needed an opportunity to shine. And they are doing some great things. And they have evolved to be some great young adults and parents and entrepreneurs. And it's a pleasure to watch them evolve as you plant those seeds and watch them grow. This year, which is year 13 of me being an administrator in the alternative program, because I've been working in the alternative program for about 20 something years. But as an administrator, this is 13. This is year 13, and my 26th year as an educator. One of the things that I want to what I'm looking for, what I was able to do was support the vision of my supervisor and the superintendent and my supervisor for people personnel, and bringing the barbering program, an apprentice barbering program, in which what they do is they're going to teach them how to not just cut hair, but they're going to teach them the philosophy of empathy, of customer service, of humanity, and while they're giving, teaching them that trade, and then be able to parlay that into a business or something, just for them to be able to do until they figure out what it is they want to do. And today was the ribbon cutting ceremony, and we were able to really celebrate and acknowledge these young people for taking this leap of faith to be a part of a groundbreaking program. But I also have, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the culinary program that we have in the evening as well. We have a great facilitator with that, where the chef, she does some phenomenal things and teaches these young people not just about serving food, but how to put love in it and how to make sure that, when they finish with what they've developed or created, they actually will now pass that on for someone else to be able to enjoy. We have an EMT program where young people are learning how to not just physically heal, but others, but also, socially, emotionally be able to come to the rescue of young people or whoever needs it, because they will be certified as a paramedic once they finish that program. We're bringing a music production program to the school, where young people will learn not just how to, make beats, but they'll learn how to, engineer and build their own in-house studio, in which they'll be able to not just, make beats, but create and produce. So we have a lot of great things, and we found that, again, when you find out what the strengths are, and you can help students identify, where their strengths are and how they learn, and they're empowered with that information, then they tend to do a lot better and be more invested in their education and their own success. And we're at a tipping point right now, post-COVID, about preparing young people for a world that now exists. So what does that look like? So we get to dictate that narrative, and in dictating that narrative, one of the things that we get to do is teach them the truth about history and who they are and where they come from. Last year, I was on a committee through the organization, the BU Black Ed Influences organization that I'm a part of. I was on a committee to help write the curriculum for Black Studies for that's going to be rolled out in New York State and New York City schools. So I was blessed to have that opportunity and wrote the Global 2 Social Studies curriculum, in which would, again, what does it look like for us and where we are, who we are, and where we come from, and all of the achievements and contributions that we've made, not just to America, but to society as a whole, the global society, so that people do not forget or get it misconstrued that we are, God manifested in the physical form, and that we brought gifts, and they actually had to savage the civilized and then demonize us. And now we're dictating the narrative by telling the truth. And as we empower young people, one of the things that we're going to be able to do is have them now decide, what does success look like for you? How do you build strong communities and foundations? And how do you create a structured foundation economically, socially, and academically to empower the youth and the generation that comes before and after? So and my mindset is more than just when the bell rings that school is over. Learning just really begins, because they're only going to teach you the foundations. You have to do more of the research and then the application of that. So, being able to hone in some skills that I've learned over the years and in education to build and support young people is that's just I think that's my assignment, and I understand my assignment, and I'm willing to do what's necessary to make sure that those things come to fruition and that these young people get what they need, and with the idea that once I'm ready to move on and retire, not retire, but I'm going to be able to the idea my consultant firm will be able to go into classrooms and go into schools and teach others, teachers, how to empower young people, especially young people of color, when they're already disenfranchised, to ensure that they have a better future and they know how to build strong communities and pass that information down and break those generational curses that we have, because we suffer from generational trauma. We suffer from all those things, PTSD, Stockholm syndrome, all those things that we see in the DSM. We suffer from those things. They just don't acknowledge them. But these things are passed on without conversations, and then we don't understand why students can't sit in the classroom and sit down and just pay attention and read and be quiet. Those things that's not what we do. That's not what education should be about. It should be about empowerment. It should be about free thinking. It should be about application of wisdom and knowledge and intelligence, and gaining knowledge of self, so that we understand what our roles are in our communities, and going outside our community if we choose to interact and build, or to divest and stay within it and build from there. Those are things where when you know better, you do better, but you're given the opportunity to make those choices because you realize that there are options. So, it's been a great journey in the educational field, and I look forward to the what the future holds, because like I said, I know what my assignment is. I've been blessed to work with some great people in the district, as well as outside the district, in the organization, in the BU organization, which is, again, Black Ed Influencers. And then again, I also produce a podcast called the Classroom Hip Hop 101 with Dr. Blizzy. And in that, I've been able to meet some great people who are not just educated, but also, part of the hip hop community, who use that to make sure that they are connecting to the youth and they're able to meet them where they are to move them forward. So, that, along with, Hip Hop for Justice, that podcast as a co-host with Brother James and Brother Miles, that's a milestone, because it was something that was new and fresh, to be able to have hip hop artists on a forum, a call, to figure out how do we protect, build, and provide for our young people something substantial, so this way, using hip hop, they understand how to move forward, and how it is a tool, and how it is actually a movement. It is not just music. It is not just the culture. It is a movement. It is a reform that stands on the shoulders of the Black liberation movement, the civil rights movement, the abolitionist movement. So we are continuing to grow and evolve through music, through dance, through graffiti, through DJing, and all the other elements that comprise hip hop, and where we start dictating the narrative and preserving the culture so that it's there for others when they come as they grow up. So again, I've been definitely blessed, and just knowing and being a part of these great opportunities and these great programs, along with my group, the Son of Berserk. Those things have allowed me to be able to stay on that path and create my own path towards greatness, but also making sure that I'm bringing others along with me.
That, you know what, and
Right, you know what? And
you are amazing, and
you
it
are
just doesn't stop
amazing,
in
and
your
it just
classroom
doesn't
because I
stop in
do
your
notice
classroom. But you
that
notice
your
that
page,
your
half pint,
page,
I'm
half
sorry,
pint,
yeah,
I'm
half
sorry,
pint hip
yeah,
hop
half pint
page.
hip hop
I think I
page.
have it right
Mm-hmm.
I
here.
think I have it right
These are
here.
one of the posters
These
that
are
you
one of
put
the
up there, and I
posters that
thought
you
this
put
was
up there, and I
pretty
thought this was pretty
cool. Could you tell me a
cool.
little bit
Could
about
you
it and
tell
what
me a little bit
motivated you
about
to
it and
put
what
that up there?
motivated you to put that up there?
Well, I what I try to do is, I try to
The
be
page is called
transparent,
Half
The
Pint,
and I want
page
to
is
guys.
make
called Half Pint, guys.
yes, it's 1/2 pint, so it's like the half pint. One of the things I try to do is be transparent, but I also want to make sure that I have whatever platform that I have, I'm empowering other people, but I'm also at the same time reminding myself how great I am, because as women, especially Black women, we tend to forget we are super women, and unfortunately sometimes we forget to put that cape down for a second to refocus, regroup, rejuvenate, and focus on us. And then we tend to keep doing and doing and going and going until we actually drop. So sometimes that I feel like these posts kind of remind me and others that how great we are and how great we can be, but also reminding us that even though we're God manifested in the physical form, we have to take time to kind of focus on ourselves and to rejuvenate and like kind of get ourselves in a mode to where we are focused and refocused, because we kind of keep going, and you know when we're not good, if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not going to be able to be good for anybody else. So a lot of it has to do with empowering ourselves and reminding ourselves how great we are,
Mhm.
but also letting us know that we still have some work to do.
And you know what? You're doing a
And you know
lot,
what? You're doing a lot,
and I'm very
and
proud of
I'm
you
very
and
proud
what
of
you're
you
doing.
and
And
what
it
you're
just does.
doing.
It doesn't
And it
stop in
just
your
does. It doesn't
classroom.
stop in your
It doesn't
classroom.
stop
It doesn't
on your
stop
page.
on
It
your
also
page.
reflects in your
It also
music as
reflects in
well.
your music as
And I
well.
wanted to get to
And
that a
I
little
wanted to
bit
get to that
because
a
I
little
wanted to
bit
talk
because I
about
wanted to
the
talk
music
about
that you
the
actually
music
have
that you
out
actually
there
have out
and
there,
tell us a
Mhm.
little bit all
and tell
about
us a
that.
little bit all
And
about
by the
that.
way, guys, she
And by
also
the way,
talks
guys, she also
about it
talks
in the other
about it in
interviews too. So
other
definitely check
interviews too.
out
So
one and
definitely
two.
check out
But
one
I'm
and
gonna let
two.
her go ahead
But I'm
and
gonna let her
refresh
go ahead and
everybody.
refresh everybody.
Right. So, again, in the group Son of Berserk, featured No Self Control and the band, um, my role was, again, I was the hype woman. I'm the first female hype woman, in the game. And I was, the Lynn Collins to Berserk's James Brown, so to speak. And if you mirror us to PE, I was what, Flav was to Chuck D. That accentuation to, you know, to a voice that had something to say, but it was, we were more or less not political, we weren't social, we were just about really talking about what we know, or having a good time. And my job was to make sure that I get the crowd hype. And in doing so, people forgot that I also was an MC. But the first album, I didn't really get a chance to rhyme. You really only hear me on like N41, which is one of the songs on the album, and that kind of depicts and really tells the story about what and how um, I kind of am in that my role in the group, because I'm a little sister, and as a little sister, everybody be like, okay, go sit down in the corner. We're gonna go do this, and I was the youngest, and I was the only girl, so being that I really was their little
Trying to
sister,
bring up.
and how a little sister don't really,
Wow.
they like to blow up spots, but they don't really get that kind of peace that they need, because everywhere you go, somebody got to go with you. You can't go here. No, like somebody got to go with you. You can't do this because you got to be, so I was that little sister, but I also was that hype person for the group to make sure that everybody in the crowd joined our journey as we were, performing. And our live shows, are something to talk about. When you see it, it's just high energy from start to finish. And you know, until you see it and experience it, you know, hearing about it, you're not going to really get the full picture. So even on YouTube, if you watch it, it's not the same as being live. But I love being on stage. And with that, as we evolve to Well Thought Out, produced by Johnny Juice, you hear more of me emceeing, and I got a chance to really show what I could do. um when you look at, you know, my solo singles, like No Fair Ones, which was on the Lost album, it's on YouTube. When you listen to Real Hip Hop, which was released in 2020. When you listen to even even the guest appearances I do on other people's work. I did some music for Solo Flex, which is a brother who is a producer out in California. I did 2 songs with him. I did a song with Craig G, um, and that's the MC from Florida. Um,
Ooh.
you know, those opportunities allowed me to again continue to grow. I did a song, I did a solo feature for a soundtrack on for the movie Swing Low. You know, that it was a book that was written by author Stella. This sister is deep. When I tell you that her imagination takes you to places, I'm like, yo, this is she. I was asked to do the soundtrack, and when I tell you, when brother C Dog asked me to be on the soundtrack, he was like, what I gotta do to get you on the soundtrack? I said, brother, what you gotta do is just let me know, just send the track, because I'm on it, you know. And I did a song called Sweet Badass Chariot. And also, you know, I was able to show what I could actually do. I'm currently working on my own solo project, you know, with some more songs with some people who are allowing me to continue to, you know, expand and use this as a platform for me to connect what I've learned over the years and what I've watched other MCs be able to do, and be able to cultivate that with with what I've learned in the classroom with working with young people. But I wanted to make sure that I have a message and it's substantial. Hip hop is a tool that could be used to empower people, and that's what I want to be able to do. So you hear that in my music, even when I'm, you know, even as a hype chick, you hear me. I'm giving demand. I'm telling people like, yo, it's time to party, or it's time to do this. You know, I want to shout out to the B Boys and my brother Donald D, who asked me to be on their their new release. How what you gonna do? That was that's on Split Slam Records with by Chuck D. They asked me, you know, he asked me could I be on a song? I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, listen, you first of all, you a legend, you a hip hop icon, and you're asking me to be on your
Yes.
album.
Yes. But you know something?
Something.
But you know something, you a legend
Something.
too. All right. When I tell people
All right. When
that I
I tell
have
people
you
that I
on
have on
my show and I had
my
you on here
show and I had
twice, I
you on
gotta
here
prove it
twice,
by
I
bringing
gotta
up the
prove it by
video and
bringing up the
everything.
video and everything.
And I'm like, she
And
did.
I'm
She
like,
said I went to school with
she
her.
said I went to
You
school with
are
her. You
amazing
are
because you stay
amazing
to your
because you
truth
stay
and
to
you
your
don't
truth. And
you're not, you know, some people they talk
some
about what
people
they
they
do,
talk
what they
about
want to
what
do
they
for the
do, what they want to
community.
do for the
They speak
community.
only when the
They speak
issues
only when
arise,
the
but you
issues
talk on a
arise,
regular
but you talk
basis.
on a regular
And I think
basis.
that's
And I
phenomenal.
think
I really
that's
do.
phenomenal. I really do.
I thank you for that, my sister. I really do. And you
So
know, that's humility that I've learned as I grow, as I continue to grow. But I'm watching people who are at the peak, or you know, that are icons, and I'm watching how they move, and they are very much um they show a lot of humility, and you know, they're very humble. Like, you know, you would think that they would act, you know, because of their status, or because of how long they've been in the music business, or because of how long they've been, you know, educators, what have you. No, these are people who have humility, they're humble, and they have no problem sharing the knowledge and the love of what they
that's
do.
what's up.
And that's what continues to inspire me. And I want to be that inspiration for others.
Man, I mean, every time I have you come on
Every
here,
time I
you
have
are
you
very
come on, you are
inspirational.
very inspirational.
Um, basically a lot of folks, when I
basically a
came off
lot
the
of folks
last
when I
time, they
came
were
up the
wanting
last
to hear a
time, they
little
were
bit
wanting
more
to
about
hear a
what you
little bit
did.
more
And
about
I
what you
think
did.
you
And I
you
think
did it. You talked
you
about
did
it,
it. You
and
talked
you out there
about it.
doing
You
stuff.
out there
You
doing
got some
stuff.
upcoming
You got some
projects,
upcoming
that you
projects
have a solo
that
project
you have a
coming
solo
out,
project coming
and
out.
Yes, but hopefully it'll
And
be released by the summer.
mhm,
We are working on a Son of Berserk documentary. We want to tell our story about, how we all began, because again, my brothers in the group, they were together as a group prior to me even getting into the group. Prior to them being called Son of Berserk, they were called the Townhouse Three. They were one of the first Long Island, artists, hip hop artists, doing shows and you know, making the rounds around and locally and everything. And um, they were already established. And when I entered the group, I just added, what I added, but it was a great combination, and we all have our own paths that led us to this group. And
mhm.
that's what we're going to be focusing on, each individual and how they ended up to where getting into this group. And I got to tell everybody, not for nothing, I made my first album when I was in 5th grade. No, 6th grade.
Wow.
I'm sorry, when I was in 6th grade, for All County Chorus. And I gotta tell you, the first time I tried out for a solo for chorus in Atkinson. Remember
Mhm.
Atkinson?
Yes.
I kind of got shut down. The music teacher was like, "No, we're not you." And then I
You
think
said you got shut
what
down.
happened. I sure enough did, and I was like, "I'm never going. I'll sing in the background. Never going to do it again." I mean, I always sung in church, but it was a little different. But I will say this, and I gotta say this because I want to say rest in peace, Iron Cara. It was a project that I had to do. I will never forget. 6th grade, Miss Kundell's chorus. I
Oh,
mean Miss Kundell's music class. Remember her?
yeah.
Her music class. And me and Sharice Corbett, we had to do a song, and we sung Fame. I asked my grandmother. I said, "Grandma, can you pick up the 45 song 45 of Fame by Irene Carroll on your way home from work?" I didn't even know if she knew what I was talking about, but she got it for me, and I was practicing it. And I said, "I'm gonna go to this class because I need an A because I don't do nothing else. I'm gonna pass this project." And um we sang this song, and that got me the A, but it also got me noticed by Miss Kundell. So when we was in chorus, she recommended me. I didn't even have to try out. She recommended me for All County Chorus, and that's how I got into All County Chorus, and I made my first album. And you could hear me in my loud mouth all through the songs. So
So
shout
can I
out to
can,
Atkinson, Freeport, and the chorus, and thank you for that opportunity. But again, it
Miss
goes
Let me
back
tell
to
you something about her. She kind of like pulled stuff out of you, and she all she do is hear
yes.
you. She be like, come here, come here. I
Hmm.
love her.
Yep. And then she said, then we were watching the Music Man. She said, "You know what? That's what you sound like." When it was Ron
Mm.
Howard singing Gary, Indiana, she was like, "That sounds like you." So if you catch me singing, don't be telling nobody I can, just joking. Because every now and then when I come home, I need to wind down, so I'll karaoke. It's a good thing I live around family members and don't nobody call the cops. But I have to. Music is my salvation. So, and it's my therapy. And even if I just belt them out, as long as I know the words a little bit, I'm good.
That you're good. You're good.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, any of your family members, I mean, are you following behind people who were in the music industry, or you have people, following you in your footsteps? And by the way, in
Um.
this video, that's your nephew, right?
Yes, that is my nephew Taylor. That is Taylor.
He's
Taylor
adorable.
Alvarado. Yes, and he is going to be 9 in May. And he said, "Auntie,"
Ooh.
now he knows my lyrics better than I do, and that just kind
They
of
always do.
again, and it affirmed how powerful what I'm saying music is, especially hip hop. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad that the material that I put out is empowering, but it also is appropriate even for young people. Now I'm not saying all my music will be,
Mm-hmm.
or that it has been, but I do understand the power of words. Understand the power of music, and I understand the power of hip hop. And this was this summer, and me recording this song and actually recording the video. This was during COVID. So one of the things he stayed with me during the summer. So one of the things that we did was he was like, Auntie, I'm gonna battle you with dance. And I was like, what? You want to dance? What? So I went broke up some cardboard, taped it on the deck. I said, let's get to battling. You know what I'm saying? I had to show him how we used to do back in the day with the break dancing, I had to show him. He was like, all right. So
I think he's
when the
showing
video
you out
came
though.
out,
He looked like he's
yes,
showing you
and
out.
when the video came out, I said, listen, you gotta practice. He was like, I got this, Auntie. I said, all right. He was practicing. I didn't know how much he was practicing, because when the lights, camera and music went on, that's what you got. He put it down, and I'm so proud of him. His mother's talented. My family is always, we grew up with music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know necessarily if there was famous people I'm related to. I know my grandfather said that Paul White, who was a band leader back in the days for big band era music, he was like a relative or something. But music always permeated throughout the house, in my home, and in my grandparents' home. So, and then wherever I went. So that was a blessing, and I think that that's kind of like where I learned it. Yeah, but my last name is Jackson, so I might be related to Michael.
What? You know what?
What?
My
I'm not
mother's
saying
maiden name.
I might be. I'm just saying. I might be. I'm just saying though. But
Look,
no, but
my
no.
mother's maiden name is Jackson. We might be related.
You listen. Anything is possible. My family is one of the longest living families on the Jackson side. One of the longest living families on Long Island.
Wow.
They were natives. So
Wow.
part of my journey also is trying to reclaim some of those things that we lost, because my family helped build Nassau County to where it is, and we've been an intricate
Wow.
piece in the history. Even though, again, if you don't know, they will definitely try to erase you.
And that's in
So
Long Island, New York, guys. Nassau County. Stomping grounds. Stomping
that
grounds.
whole project area was us, and
Yes.
I just want to make sure that people remember and people understand that yes, it's the suburbs, but it's so much more than that. And Freeport, we have a different type of swag. You can't compare it to anywhere else. The people, just the interaction, the camaraderie, the
Strong
love.
Island.
Strong Island.
There you go. And then you move, and then you go into Roosevelt, that family oriented camaraderie and love. I mean, it's uncomparable. It's just something that you just drawn to. And then you look at, Uniondale, Hempstead, that whole just Nassau County and Long Island in general. There are a lot of things about it that that we don't like, and that's not good. But I think, solidarity and love and camaraderie is what keeps me here. The history of it, of knowing that my people were here first, as well as just the love and knowing that I have history here, and I have some true sister girls and brothers that I love, who have really been there for me. And definitely my husband, I found him, we since almost 30 years. And we met at the park playing ball the same way I met,
like Loving Basketball. That movie Loving Basketball. Okay.
That's one of my friends. She said, I never really got it until I saw you and your husband. I was like, yeah, it is what it is, But like I said, Roosevelt is where he's from, and I used to play, playing ball there is where I met him. And then also that's where, I met Hank Shockley, who came over to me while I was playing ball with my sister girls and was like, yo, you sound like you can make records. I was like, yeah, whatever. I was like,
I was going to ask you about that. You talked about it last time, how you started, and you wasn't even thinking about doing music, and somebody heard you before you heard you.
But you got to remember, back in the days, we used to bang on the tables, write rhymes. We used to do all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember, we always used to do that. Back of the bus, or if we was in lunch, I remember we used to be, I mean, you may remember, used to be me, Tiani, Sharon, Veronica Saxon.
Oh my goodness. Do you still keep up with them?
with them?
Yes. Well,
Oh, tell him I said what's up.
exactly. But I definitely, me and Tiani, that's my sister girl for life. You
Mm-hmm.
know, she's doing great things. You know, Sharon, I see him. Um, occasionally, but he's definitely active on Facebook. There are a lot of people in Freeport that I may not see you on a daily basis, but I got nothing but love for them. If I met you 5 seconds, or 5 minutes, 5 years, 50 years, you've had some kind of impact on me, and it's always going to be love.
Mm-hmm.
So but definitely, back then we were finding our way. Hip hop was, for us was kind of, developing and getting the Long Island sound. We trying to figure out listening to Mr. Magic Mike at Mr. Magic at night, coming back the
Mm-hmm.
next day like, yo, you heard that? I got an answer for that. That, and then and then so that was always in the fiber and in the fabric. So once when Hank came up to me and I'm like, yeah, I didn't, who does that? Where do somebody come up to you, a producer, well-known producer, come up to you, talk about it, sound like you can make records? You don't think that those things would happen, and at least I didn't think it was gonna happen.
They
So
do happen. They
but
do happen. Let me tell
it
you
did,
something.
but again, I wouldn't have never thought that it would happen
But
at
it
that
happened to
time.
you, right?
You know what I mean? Because again, I was playing ball and just trash talking, just doing what I do, and for that to happen, that was a chance encounter. I took a leap of faith. He took a leap of faith. I was like, sure. He came to my house, talked to my grandparents. They asked me what did I want to do because they were willing to support me in any ideas and any crazy shenanigans. I was willing to try, and I said, I'll try it. Yeah, why not? And the next thing I know, I'm in the studio, and again, I knew the guys already. I just didn't know what because they were older. I just didn't know that they were. This was formulating that these things were happening in the background. My house with my mom's, used to be a place where everybody would hang out, play
Mm.
berserk, Almighty Jah well. Everybody, people would come, so those things like I said, I knew them. I just didn't know that these things were formulating to where when it happened and I actually was in the studio and in the booth, I realized like, oh, okay, this is crazy. So it's actually really coming to fruition. So, again, I want to shout out to the Bomb Squad, shout out to Hank. Um, those are my big
Yes.
brothers, and they're gonna be my big brothers for life. They always, always looked out for me, keep looking out for me. So, um, it's nothing but love when it comes to. It's just a Long Island thing for me, you know, just a Long Island thing for me.
Wow. You know what? We could be on here talking forever. And I'm gonna tell you what, this lady's out there doing some amazing stuff. And I would love for you just to Google her. Because I tell everybody, when you look up somebody, that's the best way to do it. Just Google her. Put half pint hip hop artist, and all of her music comes up. It shows you where you can get it. And if you're following me on YouTube, you could go ahead and click into the two links of her music. And if you are on Facebook, if it's not there, I'll go ahead and put it up there. So what's in, I know you said that you get ready to do a solo. I just don't want to leave anything out. Is there any other bodies of work that you're getting ready to do?
Um, I talked about BU. I talked
Yeah.
about the podcast Hip Hop for Justice and the Classroom Hip Hop 101. Again, my dream at some point is to have my own school
Oh,
and also
that's
to have
what's
a
up.
consultant firm where I'm able to actually go to schools and empower educators on how to work with our children specifically. Um, but really about changing the game of education and rethinking and refocusing and finding out our why.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for us as educators, we get a bum rap, but they forget that we do everything from being the psychologist, the nurse, the doctor, the lawyer. We're advocates all day every day for young
Mm-hmm.
people. And but I realize that the flip side of that is the criminal justice system. So if I empower people, I can't put them in prison. So one is $1 billion business, the other one is a business that feeds off of, that either feeds that $1 billion business or it puts them out of business. So we have to make sure that there's going to be law and order and it's necessary, but we have to make sure that our young people are empowered so that this way they don't become, statistics, or they don't follow that road. You know, I want to, I got to give a shout out to, my brother, my young brother, my real young brother who, Robert Bourne, go wide. He is doing his thing. He's got a lot of books out there. If you get a
Ooh.
chance, please check him out. Author Goldwire, or Robert Born Goldwire, or Born Goldwire. My young
Send me
brother.
all of those links so I could
All of those
tag it to
links
these
so I can
videos
tag
so
to
they can
these
just go
videos
to it
so
and
they
check
can
it
just go
out.
to it and check it out.
Absolutely, he has several books that are out now. His intellect is on a different level where he's just about empowering the mind and the body. And
Mhm.
I'm so proud of what he's accomplishing. And he's actually Taylor's grandfather. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Oh
and that's
wow!
and if you look at Taylor, you see my brother, you'd be like, okay, they twins. But, you know,
His little kid.
so
So kid.
yes, he's definitely doing his thing. And again, I don't know if it's something in the water in Long Island, but there's a lot of talent out here. A lot of people that are doing their thing, and it doesn't matter what arena that they're doing it in. They're just
They're
doing their
doing it
thing.
strong.
They're
I
doing
gotta
it strong.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
gotta shout them out.
Yeah.
Because you hear about a lot of different places. You definitely hear about the boroughs when you talk about music or hip hop, but people forget about Long Island and what we bring to the table.
Hmm.
Um, and
Hmm.
there's a lot of talent out here. There's a lot of people who have love of each other and
Hmm.
knowledge of self, and want to
Hmm.
keep pushing and building a better future and a stronger foundation. So I got to shout them out, and I want to shout it. Like I said, if I met you for 5 seconds or 5 years or so, whatever,
She's
you know
like,
that
what's
What's
you have made it.
up?
You've made a definite impact on me, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate whatever you brought to the table, right, wrong, and indifferent. You know what I'm saying? Everything has been a lesson for me. And as I continue my journey to continue to solidify my peace, best believe I know that I have to, that charity and giving back and my time is going to is important. And that's one of the things that I definitely try to make sure that I'm doing when it comes to whether I'm in the classroom or whether I'm just on the block.
wow.
And I got
That's
to
what's
shout
up.
out my NFO,
That's
my
what's
sister
up.
girls, because my sister girls, they hold me down and they make
Hmm.
sure,
Hmm.
what I'm saying, that I got that foundation and I got that center, because it's not always easy. Again, as Black women specifically, it's not easy to keep, running and ripping and forgetting, and you forget about yourself and taking time for yourself. So, whenever we get a chance to hang and talk and have conversations, it's always fruitful, it's always memorable, and I love it. And we grown now, so it's a little different, but I understand we all got our own paths to walk. But you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? When we do get together though, it's like we were never apart. So I
Oof.
definitely appreciate them for all that, for what they allow me to be able to do, and the strength that they give me. And my big brothers who always hold me down, even though they don't let me do much. They definitely hold me down.
But you're
Appreciate
the
it.
sister, they're gonna look
But
out for
they
you.
gonna look out for you.
And I appreciate it, because I can be reckless. So I'm glad that they stopped me from being too reckless. And it's definitely, the hip hop gods and goddesses, the icons and the legends and the pioneers who paved the way for me to even be able to have a vehicle, to have a platform and use my voice.
Hmm.
And my husband, who's
Mhm.
definitely, listen, I could be a lot, and he accepts me for all my faults and
Oh,
everything else. And
you
if he
gonna
can
make me
deal with me,
cry.
best
You gonna make me cry.
listen. If he can deal with me, best believe he must be special, because I'm a lot. I don't do drama. I don't do drama, but I'm a lot. I'm a lot. I'm a lot. I'm spoiled, and
Man, he
and
needs to spoil
and
you,
we
and I'm sure you
Boy,
spoil
and
him
I'm sure
too.
you spoil him too.
and
Yeah.
listen, anybody that allows me, that can allow a person to be themselves unapologetically and embrace all their flaws and their, that's a great recipe for a relationship. So I definitely appreciate it. And again, you know we have to make sure, these are times where we have to make sure that we give people their
Mhm.
flowers while they're here. We acknowledge
Yes.
all that
Yes.
Yes.
that they
Yes.
do, but we also make sure that we come together and we don't hold no grudges. We don't be upset. We don't get angry.
Mhm.
'Cause life is too
Mhm.
short for that. You know,
Yeah.
people, you know,
Yeah. I agree
there's
with you
a,
150%.
we have expiration dates, and the rent that we pay here
Mm.
should be our service to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I try to make sure I try to at least do that. I'm not saying I'm good at it. I'm not perfect at it. I'm a work in progress. Trust me when I tell you I'm a work in progress. But
I am too.
and when you surround yourself with people who keep you focused and level and balanced,
Mhm.
my family, my in-laws, my immediate family,
Wow.
all of that, I'm definitely blessed. And so, no reason for me to complain.
You are blessed. You are blessed. And I want to thank you again for coming on the show. Every time you come on here, I feel like we're catching up, and then I feel like I'm learning something new, and all the things that I thought that I knew about you, you adding it to the table. And one more question I have, which you've answered it over and over again, but if you had any advice, but you've said it throughout this whole interview, but again, if you had any advice for a young lady coming up, a woman of color, I have to put it that way, coming up, trying to get into this whole world of hip hop or the music industry, what advice can you give them? Or any young lady,
I
not
would have
just
to
a
tell
woman of
you,
color, any young lady.
you have to be true to yourself.
Hmm.
You have to know who you are and be solid in that, because hip hop is a culture and we have to preserve it. But
Hmm.
there are those that are exploiting it for their own gain. And in the business in itself, music business, it's like swimming with sharks. So you got to have tough skin. Again, you got to be able to be comfortable in your own skin. You got to be unapologetically you. And whatever you choose to do, as long as you are honest with it and it is who you are, and that is your square, and you stand on it, then you good. There's an audience for everything. It's just about whether or not you're authentic in it. And if you're authentic and you true and courageous enough to be you're gonna be all right.
Hmm.
Because I'll take respect all day over money. You know what I mean? As long as I'm not compromising my values, my morals, and my morals may not be somebody else's morals, and it's okay. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? That doesn't make me better. Doesn't make me worse. It doesn't make that person's worse or better. It just means that everybody has some set limits and boundaries, and whatever they are, respect them. And respect others and others' boundaries, and you keep it pushing. I can agree to disagree with you and still, what I'm saying, have respect for you, still have love for you, and keep moving. Is when you infringe on, what I'm saying, what I believe on my benefits or who I am, because it doesn't coincide with you, that we may have a problem. Because I'm not judging you. Don't judge me.
Hmm.
We all
There you
good. You know
go.
what I'm saying? We can coexist.
Hmm. I
You
love
know,
it. I love
just
it.
be authentically you.
Well, I'm gonna let you go because you are the assistant principal, and I'm sure you want to have your nights with your hubby. Give your kids a kiss for me, and man, if they're looking at this, or when they do look at this, I want them to know they have a phenomenal person in you, because it is a lot when you have somebody that's in the school system that not only use it as a job, but use it to influence the kids and to listen to them and really listen to them and lead them in the path that they should go. Because not all school people, school teachers are like that. And there are some phenomenal school teachers, and I can name them, but it's a beautiful thing when you come across one. So thank you for coming on the show.
Definitely appreciate you. Listen, as always, my sister, I definitely appreciate you. I love you. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, I
And
love you too.
anytime, all you gotta do is just hit me up and say, "Listen, I need you. I want you on this show." I got you, hands down. I just appreciate you. Thank you, my sister. Salute to
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Salute to you. Big hugs and kisses. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to close out this show. Y'all just listen. So my girl Half Pint, she's a teacher. She's out there. She's a business owner, a writer. She's an influencer. She's all that in a bucket of, I don't know,
Fried
chips.
chicken.
All right, sis. I'm gonna let you
All right,
go.
sis, I'm gonna let you
All
go.
right. Thank you, my sister. Take
Mwah.
care. And thank you to your audience as well. Mwah.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you. What's up, everybody? Yo, there you have it. I had my girl on here. I am like excited. I really am because having her on the show, I get chills, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because she's always bringing something extra to the show, and I'm serious. I was going to ask her a set of questions, and she came on and she told me all of this stuff she was talking about, and it was nice to know everything that she does. So if you miss my interview with Half Pint, if you want to check out the full interview, you're going to have to go ahead to YouTube. You can catch some of the lives, of course, on my fan page. And here's my YouTube page. Let me go ahead and bring it up. Let me bring up the YouTube page. I had look, like I told you guys. Well, Lincoln, y'all just coming in right now. But I said that I was gonna be doing some extra stuff on here because I got some extra tools. So I got like all extra about it and everything. And now I can't find anything. Oh, there it goes. Okay, there's oh yeah, here's the fan page, right? So if you guys want to check out some of the live, you can actually check it out on the fan page right there. You guys definitely go ahead and support. Listen, the holidays is up, so I would love for you guys to shop with the Dee Dee Walker live show on Amazon. And I'm telling you, I just give you suggestions. I'm not telling you what to buy, but if you happen to buy what's on my page, I would love for you guys to tag me. All right. And if there's something that is not on there, let me know and I'll go ahead and put it on there. I got some cute shoes, some, a bunch of other stuff too. And my son said for me to say this at the ending of the show instead of saying at the beginning of the show, and keep saying it over and over. He's my PR person now. And he said, tell the people to come back. What did he say? He said, come back, please subscribe, share the video. And one more thing before I go, and this is the most important thing. And I even got the thing up here. Look at it. Look. I love you, man. If you want to catch the whole video, check it out on YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also check me out on Facebook. And I'm going to come off of here. Thank you so much for watching my interview. Oh, yeah. And I get stars too. So if you guys want to hit a sister with a star, but just looking at it and sharing it is just as much love. All right. Peace. Love you, man. Ooh, honey.